Morning and welcome to Gardening 36566, and I'm Nigel Gill, if you didn't know. I haven't long been out, but one of my first jobs today, we took the cucamelon and one of the tomatillos out, and I'm just cutting it up so it just sits better in the compost heap. On Garden 36565 I showed me planting my Alfred Bartlett Christmas potatoes, and within a week the first one's come through. Success. I've had another carnivorous plant delivered, and it's bare root. Now if you look, it's actually in flower at the moment, so I've now got to pot it into compost. Now I've used a compost and perlite mix. The compost is bought compost. It needs to be sort of low nutrient soil that it's growing in, and that's what they recommend for carnivorous plants. So I'm going to open it up now and then get it into some pots, or a pot as I should say, because I'm not sure if there's one or two in there. So how? And some of you win, and I've got 3. That's not bad. So those are bare root, potted up now. I'm going to take one in the house and keep 2 out in the greenhouse to see which does best and where it's best to keep them. Okay, and they'll soon come back apparently once they got some rainwater on them. So you shouldn't use tap water, but really pleased with them obviously. The big one now is in the house and the 2 smaller ones are in the greenhouse, and they've had a good drink of rainwater, which is what they need. And this is one very silly fly. If he goes in, is he coming out? I doubt it. Bye bye, Mr. Fly. Another very silly fly. This is my newest of my carnivorous plants, and the toad lilies are looking absolutely gorgeous, and this one as well, absolutely fantastic. I've just come out and checked my outdoor tomatoes, and this has got blight. Now outdoor tomatoes are always more likely to get blight than indoor ones, but what I've got to do now is pick all of the tomatoes and destroy the plants. I'm not even going to compost them. And for this one it's a real shame. It's got blight, but the tomatoes were all but ripening. What a shame. Now you've heard my little catchphrase before, nothing goes to waste in this house. I'm going to break my own rules. Those are going to be destroyed, because if I put them into the compost it could contaminate the compost for next year, so I'm not going to take the risk. I'm going to destroy these, and these will go into the house and be stored in the windowsill. I don't put any bananas in or anything like that, just let them ripen naturally, and what that'll do is stagger the ripening process so they're not ready all together. So my recommendation is to leave that out, just in the windowsill. Wow, just look at all the swallows. They're getting near ready to fly back now to wherever they go. The sky is just full of them. Now I'm just about to plant these. Now earlier in the week I did quite a lot of preparation to raise bed 1 and raise bed 2. Here's what I did. This is the area that I grew the whopper onions, and also I had some kohlrabi in there as well. So I've cleaned them all out now, and basically what I'm going to do now is put this to bed for the winter, and then I'll have a look back at this in the spring. But what I'm going to do now is cover it with a layer of mulch, which is going to be horse muck, and it's the best you can get, honestly. And the horse muck has got compost worms in, so what I do, I pick these out and put them then into my wormery. Perfect. And here's my little horse muck preparation area. So I've got a barrel full of well rotted horse muck. I'm going to break it up in a minute, but in there will be an awful lot of compost worms. So what I'm going to do is just take any compost worms out, put them straight into the wormery, and then the broken up horse muck goes into there, and then it'll be transferred over to the raised bed. you might wonder why I go to all of the bother doing this. Well, one, I love being outside. It's an okay day. Sun's coming out actually. And the other thing is, I get nice fine horse muck to go on the garden, and I get all of those wonderful compost worms in my wormery. Winner winner, chicken dinner. Should say horse muck dinner. And another reason why I go through the horse muck is you do get sticks. You can see them there, leaves. Neither of them will cause any problem. But then you see things like this. Now that's a piece of plastic. Now one of two things have happened for that to be in here. A, it's blown in somehow. Either, well, it's blown in. Or the other one is the horse has eaten it. And obviously it's left its body. And it hasn't broken down, as plastic will never really break down. And I don't really want that going in my garden. So what I do, when I sort it through the horse muck, I'll pull that out and discard it. Here's another find. If you look just here, it's what looks like a little tiny egg. And that's exactly what it is. It's a worm egg. And in there's maybe 10 to 15 little tiny worms. So if I put them in the wormery, obviously they'll hatch out into and make big worms. Big compost worms. Whoopee! So yeah, look out for your worm eggs. Now my compost worms make the best compost money can't buy. But now for my next little job, I'm going to rely on another type of worm to do the work for me. And I've finished that raised bed now with horse muck. And doesn't it look great? Now like I say, with the next use for worms, I'm not going to dig or mix that up at all. What I'm going to do now is rely on the earthworms to come up that's in that soil and pull that horse muck down into the soil itself and mix it up. So basically, come next spring, that'll be ready to plant without any digging or anything else. Perfect and very, very easy. Now I cut the tops off my potatoes to stop the blight. And I would say that probably the best place to store your potatoes are where they've grown, to be quite honest, just as they are, with the potatoes tops cut off. But I need this space for planting some winter broccoli. So what I'm going to do now is dig my potatoes up, let them dry, and then I'm going to store them in hessian bags. And sometimes when you leave them in the ground they can rot off, so that is always a danger. If you pull them out, obviously that shouldn't happen. And here's another problem I've had with my potatoes this year. Birds eating them. I've got to be honest, I can't ever remember seeing that before. I think it's either jackdaws or crows. I've just been pulling them up and eating them. They did the same with my onions as well. They was eating onions. Strange birds up here. I've dug the potatoes now. The ground looks a bit rough. It needs some preparation, and I'll put some horse muck on it as well. There's the potatoes. Reasonable size and an okay harvest, I suppose, for a couple of rows. And it wasn't even full rows, so I'm sort of okay with that. These will last us now, I'd say, about 3 or 4 weeks maybe, and then I've got some more to dig. When you're going through the soil after growing potatoes, make sure you take every single little potato out, because even that little tiddler there will grow into a potato next year and it could damage your crops. So try and remove everything if you can. That's it, we're back to today now, and as you can see, as expected, these are very root bound, so I think they'll really benefit and really do well now they're being put into the garden. Now we love a stir fry, especially our midweek stir fry, And in that stir fry so far, what we've got to go in it, and there is plenty, Malabar, which is a climbing spinach. It's absolutely beautiful. Pak choy. It's quick growing, grows like a lettuce, and has got a beautiful, beautiful flavour to it. Swiss chard. This is quite hardy and will certainly keep growing into the winter. Something we don't use that often, which is beetroot leaves. They can be used in stir fry. This is curly kale. And this last one is traditional spinach. Now these can be grown outdoors or in cool greenhouses, which is ideal. I can grow these over winter. Outside it can be sown any time between April and September. Well, we're in September now, so that's perfect. Give them some water now. And this last little bit of area here is for garlic. Now I know last year a lot of you struggled to grow your garlic. Well, here's a little tip how to grow it. First of all, purchase some garlic. You can either use the shop bought stuff or you can buy it from a seed retailer. I'm going to get mine from a seed retailer. In fact, mine's already ordered. Then subscribe to Gardening 365 on YouTube. Very important, because what I will do is I'll show you when I'm going to plant it, and I'll show you step by step everything I'm going to do. And reality is, it's really quite simple to grow. It does take quite a long time though. And then next year when I harvest mine, I'll tell you all when to harvest. So another good reason why to subscribe to Gardening 365. I'm going to miss these guys. I'm sure they're going to fly shortly. But while we've still got them, I think they're great. And that concludes this week's Gardening 365. Gardening 365 66. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please go along to our Facebook channel. And please join. And basically, thank you ever so much for being part of the team. See you next time. Bye.